Okay, in this session, we're going to discuss how to approach the objectives and the hypothesis for your proposal. Once you have done the literature review, you have probably confirmed a few ideas that you already have with respect to the problem area that you had identified. Mm? And needless to say, you need to continue doing the literature review to find more specific definitions of concepts and models that you're going to use to center the problem. The objectives that you come up for your piece of research in the proposal are study objectives. That is, you need a general objective that defines what is it exactly that you're aiming for in this particular piece of research. Usually it's words like evaluation, characterization, approaching, and that kind of wording that later you need to break down into what's called specific objectives, of which you need at least two, okay, to to have a clearer aims for the piece of research. Now, one important thing that you need to have in mind is that there is a difference between objectives and activities. Okay, activities are what can we call it? Tasks. Are things or activities that you carry out to accomplish an objective. For example, applying a questionnaire is an activity. However, the design of a questionnaire for a particular purpose, that is an objective. So, in this proposal, you might need to have either hypothesis or research questions. The latest trend that I've seen is that people having research questions that give them more room to carry out activities in which you don't marry with a particular hypothesis, in which you have a strong assumption of what might happen when you carry out and you finish your piece of research. Okay? Because that's a hypothesis. A hypothesis is an a priori assumption of what you think things might turn out to be once you're done with your research. And of course, the null hypothesis is to cover your back, because it's in research it's 50% chances that you attain your hypothesis or not, that you approve them or discard them. And the research questions are going to come up from one, the definition and identification of the problem area, and two, they're going to come up from the literature review in asking questions about what might happen in implementing the piece of research. This diagram shows the relationship between these concepts that we have been discussing here, where the largest square there is the context that also needs to be defined, and with the context you have the problem, and out of the problem you derived the study objectives and the hypothesis. It says current understanding because, as you may know, the literature review is an endless process by which you keep refining and refining your area of study and the proposal that you're writing. That is for this section.